Hello YouTube and welcome to RV Daydream. It's a beautiful day out, so I got to work on some vehicles.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
Yeah, it's turned out to be a really good day. We're supposed to have rain, but it's not here and I don't care. Boy, my truck's really muddy. I'm going to be working on the truck. And I want to talk about some of the stuff that you need to be aware of whenever you're buying parts at the auto parts store. Now, you would think that on a vehicle like my truck that's been around forever, that the brakes, for the most part, have stayed the same from one model year to the other. And that's what I'm going to be working on today, is the brakes. And specifically the front brakes. Now, I just replaced the front brakes. However, I have a squealing situation that's going on. I've got a piece of metal that's slightly rubbing the rotors, and it's been like that ever since I changed the brakes. So why is that? Did I get the wrong parts? No, I got the right parts. The problem is that whenever auto parts stores buy parts from suppliers, they have a tendency, the suppliers that is, to get them wherever they can, to pick them up and have them cheaply produced wherever that may be. So even though, like in my case, you get a certain part that comes with brake pads that is supposed to fit the vehicle exact, and maybe the last time you did your brakes, that brand of brake pad fit perfect and there wasn't a problem. Now they've switched suppliers and those parts are no longer fitting the way they should. There's a lot of times that you have to do the engineering yourself, and that's what it is in my case. I have a slider bracket that the caliper floats on, and those brackets unfortunately are made a little bit too big on the outside to where they want to move on the bracket that the caliper is mounted on. However, it's actually too small where it rides on either side of the rotor. So what happens is it moves, and when it moves it touches the rotor. So I've got to go ahead, and I tried modifying the ones that are on there, and I did a poor job of modifying because they were already on the vehicle, so I was trying to do it while they were still on the vehicle. I got a set of new ones, so I'm going to go ahead and replace those. Well, I kind of got busy and got sidetracked, like always. Heidi loves it when I get sidetracked. Actually, she don't mind because I usually get a lot of crap done. I went ahead and cleaned the tarp, the mat, the awning mat, and then our step that we have going into our awning. See it out there hanging on the line? It was quite muddy at that site that we were at, as you can might guess, at Paradise Lake Park. That's why I was concerned about getting stuck. But it's really nice. You just take the same brush that you use to wash your RV and some car wash, and it comes clean and it dries fast. So I'll hang it on the line for a little while, and yeah, we got that done. I hear you, RV. I know you're wanting washed. You need washed. I hear you, truck. You need washed too. Yeah, I got everybody muddy by going out to that campground. So the brake pieces are off. Let me show you how mangled up I made the old ones, and I'll show you what the new ones look like. You can see I bent these to death, and I was trying to get it to where they position themselves correctly. Just a bad design. They're not symmetrical, and you put them in, and you can imagine my rotors, you know, obviously narrower or more narrow than this is here, but you know, it's not much more narrower than that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put those back on, and hopefully they line up just right so I can have no squeaking, because I can't stand that. That was driving me crazy. It's really embarrassing because anytime I hear a squeak, I know there's an issue. And for brakes, that squeak that it was making most of the time means your brake pads are wore and there's a squelch pad that's dragging the rotor. Well, this vehicle don't have those, but a lot of passenger cars do. So whenever you hear somebody go by and you hear the brakes squeaking, you know that that's the case. That's what's going on. I mean, unless they're drum brakes. Not a lot of cars have drum brakes all the way around, because that drum brake will generate some dust and trap it in the drum and make a lot of noise. But as far as this, I had all new brakes, and everything else is relatively new on the truck as far as all the replacement parts that I put on there. So for it to make noise, you know, we're creeping through a park and everybody's sitting out in their chairs and stuff like that, you know, just enjoying the park in general. And here comes my truck slowly by, and it's squeak, 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 squeak. and they all just look and they're all saying to themselves, I'm sure, there's something wrong with his truck. Yeah, there was something wrong with my truck. Damn faulty parts. So I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back together now, and we'll see what else I can get into. Alright, so it's the next day, and I got a few things to show you. One of the things we're going to do is run this generator with the Progressive Industries surge protector on it, because Mike with Wandering Wagners was saying that he's heard of people getting faults in codes, so I'm going to look at that. But first, let me show you something that we picked up, and it had to do something sort of with the, again, the Wagners, something that we have been thinking about for a while, but we kind of firmed it up, and that is our grilling situation. So you see the disaster we got going on in here, and I'm going to talk about our charcoal grill. I'm getting ready to pull this out of the camper. Now this grill I did a review on, oh, I don't know, last year sometime. Actually, yeah, no, it was 2 years ago. Wow, I can't believe we had it 2 years. And it's a Weber Jumbo Joe. It's a charcoal grill. We love cooking on charcoal. We were getting hung up that we love to cook with charcoal. Part of that has to do with me, and a little bit has to do with Heidi. But the reason we got this is because this is basically a miniature kettle design of the big Performer series, and that's what we cook with at home. The Performer series starts with propane, but as soon as the charcoal's lit, you turn the propane off and then you cook with charcoal. This one is just a straight on charcoal grill, and we have a chimney starter which we load up with charcoal, and then once it gets going you just pour it in the grill, and that's it. And this thing is exceptional. It's got the same airflow design, it's the same baked on enamel, all that stuff. I'll put a link down below for this if you guys are interested in this, but I'm going to tell you the main reason that we are no longer going to be using this when we're RVing, unless maybe it's just locally. But on longer trips and when we go full-time, we'll never be able to use this. One of the problems is we love to use hardwood charcoal, and certain brands, Stubbs, but Cowboy, for whatever reason, we just fell in love with that Cowboy hard lump or hardwood charcoal. And it comes in 20-pound bags. Now you can imagine this is wood, and they're pretty big chunks, so 20 pounds is pretty good size. So the problem that we have is, not only do we have to have that kettle grill that I just showed you, but we also have to have a 20-pound bag of charcoal, which is, it's substantial. It's a substantial size. We also have to have that chimney starter. So with those things, you know, you're talking space. You're talking space either in the RV or in the back of my truck. So let me show you how we remedied that. I'm not happy about it. Neither is Heidi 100%, but we'll get used to it, I'm sure. Well, we stuck with Weber, and this is a propane grill. It's pretty typical of the propane grills, but I noticed right away these grates are very thick and heavy. They're substantially bigger than I thought they were going to be. And all this being stainless, I mean, this looks like it's been machined really nice instead of just thrown together like some of them we saw. This has a 5-year warranty, and if you've never dealt with Weber with their warranties, it's exceptional. I had a problem with the vent that was on the bottom of that charcoal grill that I was just showing you, and I told him, hey, it's been 1.5 years and it just deteriorated, and she sent me another one free. She just said, what's your address? And they sent it out. She didn't ask for purchase or none of that. She didn't ask for any of that stuff. She just sent it out because they think their products are exceptional, and so do I. This is going to be the first propane grill that we've had from Weber. However, a friend of the family has one, and he had it for 25 years until a tree blew down on it from a storm. So these things, for the most part, are made to last. This is all pretty decent cast aluminum. Basically, it's a rough cast. It's not like extruded or anything like that. It's not overly heavy, but it's got a footprint that's a lot smaller overall, and it looks like it's a little bit easier to deal with us carrying it either in the back of the truck or in the RV. As Heidi's over there messing around, I gotta turn the air on for her. But I'll put a link down below for this also. It's got a removable tray, and it's got some sort of a little grease tray that is probably supposed to be thrown away, but we'll reuse it a few times. And of course, it's, you know, set up for propane. I don't have any bottles on here, but it just screws onto the back. They give you a little cap to protect that nozzle whenever you don't have propane on there. And it's a real basic design, but this will allow us to cook, and when we're done, just shut it off. On the generator, Mike was saying that he heard about codes coming up because this surge protector has 3 lights. It has fault lights on it. And he said he's heard of people saying that whenever they plug it in, that those fault lights actually cause issue with the generator. I don't know if it will or not, but I'm going to go ahead and try it. Let's see what it looks like. So first, let's take a look at the surge protector. I'll put the link down below for this. You need to have something like this. This is for a 30 amp, and it's, you know, weather protected. So once it goes up in the fuse box, you can plug in your RV, and this will be protected. You can cover it up. And anyways, I never liked that they hung out in the rain, and this is the only one that I really seen that I trusted to have a cover on it. So green, if the green light's on, it says the surge protection is on. Everything's fine. If the blue is on but the red is off, that means it's correct wiring. So if the green's on and the blue's on, that means correct wiring and surge protection is on. If the blue is off but the red is on, that means reverse polarity. If the blue is on and the red is on, that means it's an open neutral. And if the blue is off and the red is off, that means open ground. So there's the faults that could come up and the different colors. And I'll have to have Heidi over here to help me with the colors, because I have a hard time seeing them whenever they're in these kind of configurations. So I got Heidi out here for her eyes and her color recognition ability. And we'll go ahead and plug this in and see what it looks like overall. So you're probably not going to be able to hear us, but we'll go ahead and set this up, turn it on, plug this in, and then we'll plug in the cable and see what these lights say. So battery on for the starter. Go ahead and pull choke, economy mode off, and we'll give it a few seconds to get started up here and warmed up, so we know that it's not going to fall on its face whenever I turn on the air. Okay, so Heidi says it's just a green light, and that's what it looks like to me too. So let's go ahead and plug in the RV now and see what happens. Like that it says blue on and the red's off, so that means it's got the correct wiring. We're going to unplug it, plug it back in again. Yeah, the blue light's not very bright. It looks like it wants to be kind of bright, but then it's not. Usually it's pretty bright. Let's go ahead and try it again. You can see what it looks like now, but watch when we plug it in. It's on. It's not very bright though. I guess this is okay. So as far as we can tell, it's okay, but that blue light is normally a lot brighter than that. I don't know if that's an issue or not. I'm gonna have Heidi go in and turn on the air conditioning on max air, and we'll see if it changes out here. You know, it's real close to being blue off, red off, open ground. I mean, the light is so minimal. It's very, very minimal. It's hardly noticeable at all. I mean, if you see how bright the green light is, and then you compare it to the blue light that's right underneath of it, it's not bright at all.
It does say correct wiring.
It does say correct wiring, but if that blue light was completely off, that means the blue light's off and the red light's off, and that means open ground. So I don't know how to really tell you what I think about that, because the red light is off, the blue light is on, although it being very dim. So that's the correct wiring. So again, I don't know how to feel about that, but it seems to be working. Hey Hyde, go ahead and turn off the air. So we're gonna go ahead and hook this up normal, because quite honestly, this thing should have quite a bit of protection already built into it, the generator itself. But I always thought that it'd be a good idea to have that thing plugged in. But it's not really made for that. I mean, like I said, the blue light's on, it's just real dim. Here's something I want to try on econo mode. So let's look at the lights, plug this in. You can see it's now showing a slight blue. And we'll turn on the air again when it's in econo mode. All right, Hyde's going to turn on the air here. Yeah, no different at all. None at all. So the blue light's on. Is it bright? No. So I don't know what that means. So Heidi's kind of bummed out that we're not taking that little charcoal grill anymore, and I am too, because it's so exceptional. But hopefully we feel the same way about this one whenever we get to where we're using it all the time, and for the convenience, because the charcoal, you know, there's an inconvenience there. We'll see. We was just talking about the generator. How about generator security? I picked this up. I'm sure this stuff can be cut. It is steel braided, but it can be cut. I don't care. It's not that big. But hopefully it deters people to some extent for the generator, just not to pick it up. We got a couple of locks. It was just a couple bucks more to get a little bit longer. So I got the longer ones. That makes it a little bit easier dealing with these cables. Of course, the generator. Of course, if somebody wants a generator, they're going to take it. This is the better weather resistance. I got this mainly because it has a code that you can set, which I can set them both to the same code. That'll make it a lot easier for us than trying to manage to keep a key. And Heidi's working with some Velcro right now, trying to get our reflectix up in the RV, because I talked about that when we went camping. That bedroom was way too bright. So I picked her up a roll of Velcro, and she's got Velcro that she's working with in there too. That's why I wanted to run the air conditioning anyways in there for her, because it's pretty warm today. I mean, it's in the 80s, so good. But yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a way to put this around the generator to where it actually makes a difference. This will slow them down a little, but again, if somebody wants it bad enough, they're gonna get it. I don't care where it is, unless it's Fort Knox. So that was just some of the stuff that we got today for this trip that's coming up, and we're gonna talk about that at a later time. I think we might try to play some sort of a game and choose a general direction in which we're going to travel. But that's it for today and yesterday. And as always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Man, I love that generator.